Darkest Dungeon 2, all items in a game, in items, combat items, consumables, trinkets, everything that exists. We're gonna pass through each one and I'll tell you when to use it, what is it for, and how to play with those items properly. I got 300 plus hours in the game by now, finished the game multiple times on both infernal and clear torch runs, and I can say that I easily have a lot of experience in this game. Let's not waste time, let's go. First of all, I'll show you the scale of all items in the game under all items tab. Now let's go to currency and provisions. Candles. With candles, you upgrade stuff at the Altar of Hope. You can check my guide for the Altar of Hope for that. Probably the most important thing for a new player is to accumulate as many candles as you can. Bubbles. With bubbles, you're gonna buy trinkets and you will repair your stagecoach as well as buying stagecoach items. So bubbles are extremely important in the game. You can easily call it the secondary currency in the game. Primary currency would be relics. With relics, you're gonna buy combat items and items in the game. You will accumulate relics and bubbles by killing monsters, looting, and of course traversing the world map. Items like this, unique items, you're gonna get them at a monster's den, and they usually provide mastery point, different discounts at the end, stress heal, and so on. Once you see a monster's den, this is what you wanna do. Do it immediately to receive these beautiful deliverable items in the end. If your hero dies, one of your hero, if they die and you still reach the end, you will be able to receive 4 candles. There are many specific treasures along the way. This one is one of the best, clear, straight 50 relics if you deliver the strong box to the end. Easily from monsters then you can get discount on combat and in items, on trinkets, you can stress heal, and you can remove diseases. Now up we go to combat items. As you can tell, there's a lot. I'll pass through each one and explain what they do. Resist burn, extremely useful in the sprawl, where enemies deal a lot of burn damage. Adrenaline tonic, straight up heals 50, very good item. If you see it, you should buy it. Anti-venom, small heal, removes disease. If you play without Plague Doctor in the team, you need to have some anti-venom in your stash. Same can be said about bandages, only they remove bleeding. Bandages are extremely useful against cosmic enemies in the game. Now, as far as traps and bombs go, these are all traps and bombs, okay, all of these, that. How do you use them? Usually use them on a first or a second character that needs to nuke down the first in a row to remove armor, to remove dodge, especially dodge from enemies, so you can actually hit them. So you should always conserve them when enemies have dodge tokens. Remember, that's what traps and bombs do. Some of the items, like serrated weapon, like a bone saw, can be combined with a trinket, and then it deals even more bleed damage. Remove fire does the same thing as bandages and venom. Remove stealth is quite useless, only counts for like 3 enemies in a game in total, alright? You don't need it. Like, if you don't have anything else to use, you can use chalk dust, but just forget that it exists. If you need space in your inventory, melt it down. I can say the same thing about this one. That may be useful against cosmic enemies if you taunt, for example, with men-at-arms, and then you put this on him, he cannot bleed. Plus, he's gonna soak up a lot of damage from armor. One of the best items in the game would be Crow's Feet. The strap is absolutely hilarious, I love it. Deathcap Spores, nuke down resists of enemies, quite useless to be honest, they're far better consumables. If you don't have anything else to use, then you can use Deathcap Spores. Incendiary Cocktail, or better to say Molotov, very good item, extremely good against the bosses. One of the best grenades in the game would be Greek Fire, absolutely crazy. Keep it when you enter monsters den or where you fight cosmic enemies. do not use for regular mobs. Fisherman's Net. Fisherman's Net is quite useless unless you have a good trinket that's gonna merge with Fisherman's Net. Later about it when we reach trinkets. The best item in the game by far would be a healing salve, and you can stack up to 2, and you can use 2 healing salves at the same time. When you see a healing salve, you insta buy. No second thoughts about it. You want to keep healing salves for the final boss of the act, no matter what act you play in. Exactly the same can be said about Triage Kit, but you can only have 1. You can't equip 2. One small trick. Why is it better with 2 healing salves than with 1 Triage Kit, even though this is a better heal? Once you're on a death's door, you can apply and save a unit twice on a death's door. With this one, you can only save it once. So healing salve wins over Triage Kit. I can dare say that even Adrenaline Tonic wins over the Triage Kit, even though it deals +1 stress. Holy Water, very nice. You can easily use it, you don't need to save it. Good on a leper, good on everyone that has negative tokens, basically. Now, same what I said for Incendiary Cocktail, same applies for the Ichor Bomb. Great on bosses. Invigorating Intoxicant is great on the characters that refuse to die, so they gonna refuse to die even more. Characters that refuse to die, or better to say heroes that refuse to die and that can profit out of Invigorating Intoxicant, would be Flagellant, Leper, and Hellion. Those 3 are absolutely indestructible, and they do profit out of this when you fight the boss. The next one, and probably the best one, an absolute must, along with a healing salve and a torch, Laudanum is the best thing in the game. When you see Laudanum, you buy at the max and you insta stress heal. Even if you have 1-2 points of stress, you're gonna use Laudanum during the fight. You'll be stress free when you reach the end of the map if you use Laudanum non-stop. The next one would be Makeshift Javelin. Great item, very expensive. If you can get it for free somehow, if you can loot it, then use it. Do not buy, you can buy better stuff. Right now it's very expensive. Medicinal Herbs. If you got healers in your team, Vestal, Plague Doctor, Flagellant, Runaway, you don't need Medicinal Herbs. If you play without a healer, then you will need Medicinal Herbs. I can say exactly the same thing about the neutralizing powders. They are doing the same, exactly the same thing as clothing powders and all other powders in the game. If you ask me, useless items. Noisemaker, one of the better items in the game. I absolutely love Noisemaker. Gives taunt, gives armor, apply that on your tank, and the rest of your party will be safe, especially when your tank's taunt is on a cooldown. Basically, what Noisemaker does, you can non-stop taunt for like 2-3 rounds in a row while you're on a cooldown. Very good on Men-at-Arms, on Leper, on Carcass Hellion, absolutely great item. Linseed Oil Flask, useless item. Otherworldly Fragment, absolutely great item, nothing to say about it, keep it for the bosses, it's crazy good. And very rare. Pouch of Lie. Party clears corpses. If you don't have clear corpses in your party, and Leper provides clear corpses, Plague Doctor provides clear corpses, Occultist provides clear corpses, if you play without, then you need this one from time to time. Pyrotechnic Dazzler, crazy good item, you can stun enemies with it, it happens quite often too, absolutely great item. Milk Soaked Linen, very good when you have Leper in your team, so you can remove blind from your Leper. The next one would be Scrap Grenade. All grenades in the game are absolutely crazy good to have, including this one. Shimmering Powder, good for units that can profit from stealth, like the Grave Robber. Other than that, absolute garbage. Shred of Decency, good against cosmic enemies, so you can remove their OP buffs and they gonna hurt less. Smelling Salts, very good to remove stun from your allies, especially good against the first chapter boss in the game that can stun lock you. Smoke Bomb used to be my favorite in early access, it's still good, but it's not as strong as it used to be. Still, very good item, especially bosses, especially for example against Librarian or against Exemplar, you know, annoying things in a game. It's very good to blind them with a smoke bomb. Ethereal Dust, very few skills in a game are important, like play again with a jester, taunt twice with a leper, long cooldown skills basically, those that are useful once, and if you got a team composition for this item then it's a good item, otherwise it's useless. Spiked Wall, Trap, nothing to say about it, great against bosses. Mineral Rich Spring Water, you can find it only in Oasis, and it's one of the best items in the game. Especially because it has heal, you can save someone on a death's door, and you can remove 3 points of stress. One of the better items in the game. Speaking about one of the better items in the game, there's Stimulants, let up damage if you see someone with a crit token, for example like Leper or Highwayman, and you apply Stimulants, prepare to see huge crits, 70 plus and above. Speaking about huge crits, the Blood is crazy good, because it gives crits, damage and speed. You're gonna hurt like crazy with the Blood. Thunderclap Grenade, shuffle and stun enemies, the entire row of enemies. One of the best items in the game. Glimmer of Hope, absolutely must. You need to buy Glimmer of Hope wherever you can. You're gonna need like 2 to 4 Glimmers of Hope per map. There's 3 maps in total, if we include bonus map, the Sluice. Let's say that you will need around 12 Glimmers of Hope to finish the entire chapter, no matter if you play on Infernal or Light runs, Radiant runs. Toxic Ichor, pretty much useless. Spore Grenade, as I said, all grenades are great. Warhorn is probably the best item that you can equip before fighting the boss, because the entire party will get damage up for 2 rounds in a row. Crazy good. Wilbur's Flag, quite useless item, maybe good against bosses if you wanna use Finale with Jester, okay, or Execute with a Bounty Hunter, then it's solid, because it gives vulnerable and combo, but very few heroes profit out of it. So what are the best combat items in a game? Any grenade or a trap as the first one, Glimmer of Hope as the second one, Healing Salve as the third one, Laudanum as the fourth one, and Warhorn as the fifth one. What you need to learn is what to use and when. Some things you need to insta-use, and some things you need to conserve all the way for the very end. Let's go to in items. Armor Repair Kit, you only gonna keep this one for the mountain before the final boss. Blasphemous Idol, same goes for Blasphemous Idol, you will keep it for the final boss. Confession Boss, Chapter Boss. Book of Bawdy Tales, -6 stress, useful if you get stressed out completely. I never use this item in my life, but I guess it can be useful if you get stressed out. My Time in the Desert, round starts, stealth 5% chance, good on a grave robber. Book of Creative Insults, round starts with taunt, 5% chance, great on tanky characters, on Hellion, on Leper, on Men-at-Arms, or on dodgy characters, especially if you receive like starting quirks with dodge plus, regular dodge, armor, or armor plus. This is when you want to apply Book of Creative Insults. Poetry, when you see the yellow one, positive relation, those are the best in items, because you want positive relations on everyone. -4 stress is great, but positive relation is even better. Boxing Gloves, only use before the main boss, or better to say for the final chapter boss. Calming Incest, very good on every respite that you can get to remove stress. Candles and Chocolate, absolutely hilarious, great, good item, very rare, but very, very good, straight up 3 positive relation. Clarifying Poultice, only use before the final boss. Clothing Poultice, same can be said about it. Dartboard, only use at a mountain when you reach the end. Ceremonial Drum, move resist, that's very good on your tank, you can use it non-stop whenever you have it, of course, probably on spot number 1 where your main tank will be. Experimental Remedy, Plague Doctor, heal and remove a negative quirk on a party. When you get it, it's absolutely crazy good, heals completely and removes disease and removes a negative quirk. Absolutely crazy good item. Slime Mold, better to not eat at all than using Slime Mold. Only and only use Slime Mold when you have disease resist on your trinkets. So pay attention to equip disease resist on your trinkets, use a slime mold, remove disease resist trinket, and then use slime mold on the other character if you have to eat slime mold. Bread, apples and cheese, steak and spuds, flapjacks, basically food items, are extremely good. I would only keep steak and spuds for the final map. The rest you can use along the way. Guided meditation, occultist buff, use it whenever you like. Best to keep for the final boss. Holy beads, only use for the final boss. The mountain, better to say use it at the last in. Holy Hymnal, Vestal gives 25% HP to the entire party, crazy good, use at the mountain. Impermeable Poultice, again use at the mountain on Man at Arms. When he protects someone, receives 25% damage until the next turn. Use it whenever you like, best to be used for the final boss. Leeches removes a disease. When you see it, when you can grab this one, you can remove disease in the end. Meditative Totem, if you see and you got relics for 5 of them and 5 of them are on sale, you're gonna buy all 5 and you're gonna risk to remove every negative quirk that you can remove during the respite. One of the best items in the game as far as in items go. Map and Bucket, use on the mountain before the final boss. Morbid Joke, Highwayman, extremely good item, use it whenever you like. There's a very good chance that you will receive 6 positive tokens on a relation and 20% chance to receive 4 negative. Good luck. Nightshade Concoction gives death resist. Who to use it for? You're gonna use this one on a leper, on a hellion, or on a flagellant. Characters that refuse to die, so they can be resistant even more to death. And you're gonna use this one before the final boss at the mount. Oddly tuned loot, Jester, minus 10 stress to the entire party and 10 stress resist until the next turn. Use it immediately, it's good for that 10 additional stress resist in the game. Pipeweed, if you got items, trinkets that gonna benefit out of less than 2 move speed, then it's good to use this one. First of all, you stress heal, second of all, you get positive relation, and third, you can proc some passives from trinkets if you lower the speed. Playing cards, when you have them, use them immediately. 75% chance for a positive relation. Restorative herbs, use them immediately, especially on map 2 and 3, cause those are the longest maps. Roast Pig, one if not the best item in the game. All hero pairs, +1 relation, -2 stress, absolutely great. Songbook of Amorous Ballads, use it immediately when you can, good chance of a positive relation, 3 points. Songbook of Touching Dirges, use this one first for 2 positive relation chance, 80%, and if all receive +1 stress in combination with a pig, this one boosts stress. You can use 2 books at the same time if you can find them and buy them, and often you will be able to do it, and then you apply pig, so +2 stress, -2 stress. This goes +4 relation, +5, and you got excellent relations among your characters. That's the combo basically, Songbook into a pig. There is also another combo with a Songbook of Rousing Tunes that gives speed and removes stress. So 2 of these and 2 of these negate stress. Shooting Poultice, use it before the final boss. Or you can use this one when entering the Sprawl. Speed Bag, used before the final boss. You wanna use Speed Bag on your squishes. On Plague Doctor, on Jester, on Runaway, definitely on squishes. Squishes need dodge. Invigorating Stew, party food. If you don't have other food, you can use Invigorating Stew. Pay attention on speed, it can be a buff or a debuff, depends on your trinkets. Stimulating Poultice, those that got trinkets for extra speed. This one can proc those passives, use when you have trinkets that can actually benefit out of the speed. Stitching Kit heals 20%. I would argue that this is an absolutely useless item, it should heal at least 50%. The current price on a Stitching Kit is absolutely hilarious, avoid it like plague. Starfield Columber, great on a Runaway, I would keep it for the final boss though. The very best on a Grave Robber, straight up 10% crit chance, use it before the final boss of the chapter, or better to say in the final inn before the mountain. Tinned Delicacies, another food item, the best food item in the game by far, use this before the boss. Knotted Tug Rope, round starts with damage up, 2 characters, use on the damage dealers, use this one before the final boss, or if you decide to go on a map boss, second, third map. Warpaint. Hellion receives damage if rank 1 or 2. Use before the final boss. Hellion will hurt a lot with this item. Vex Inoculant, when you see it, use it immediately. You want to use this one on a character that provides taunt. Man-at-Arms, Carcass Hellion, Leper, Flagellant, so when they get hit, they actually resist disease. Whetstone gives straight up 100% crit, 5% chance to happen. Use before the final boss of the chapter. Whiskey Barrel, great item, use it immediately if you can. Whiskey Bottle, same as I said for the barrel, use whenever you can. Whiskey Flask, absolutely great, cheap, use immediately to boost relation. Whittling Tools, -3 stress, keep and use when you get stressed out. Wild Tea, one of the best items in a game. It 100% removes a negative quirk, and there's a 25% chance it's gonna remove a positive quirk. One of the best items in the game would be Wild Tea. Top 5 in items in the game. Blasphemous Idol as the first one, Candles and Chocolate as the second one, Meditative Totem as the third one, Wild Tea as the fourth one, Pig, Roast Pig as the fifth one. Now let's go to Trinkets. There's a lot of Trinkets in the game, really a lot. First would be Celebrated Chalice, crazy good if you're rich. Relics and Bubbles need to be above 50 for speed and crit. Absolutely great item, one of the best in the game. Clarifying Carcanet, if Relics and Bubbles, upgraded Chalice basically, if Relics and Bubbles are above 75, you get max HP and max damage. If you can combine these two on the same character, that character is the strongest character in the game, simple as that. Two best items in the game, these two. The next one would be Cleansing Clasp. If Bubbles in inventory above 25, you remove a negative token. Great on a Leopard to remove blind. Shimmering Crown. Combat starts if relics in inventory are above 100, and if bubbles are above 100, heal up completely and completely remove stress. You only equip this item once you need a heal or once you're stressed out before the combat. And you're gonna switch this one from character to character, depends on the situation of course. You need to be mega rich for this to work, by the way. That's Hand, great before the final boss. It removes all negative tokens, Blight, Bleed and Burn on a Death's Door. Bone Mallet, only good when you got stunners in your team, and if Flame is under 40 you can daze and then stun more easily, because daze turns into stun. Covered Cloak, if Flame is below 40 there's a 66% chance you're gonna get stealth. Range skills will probably kill the enemy on a Death's Door. Good on a Grave Robber, good on a Runaway. Goading Gargoyle, it converts blind to damage. If Flame is under 40, you get +4 speed. This is the best item that you can equip on a Tempest Leper, by far. Peculiar Pods, completely useless item, avoid it. Big Sticker, great on a Grave Robber, great on a Runaway, even good on a Hellion and every other character that can proc combo into crit. Rousing Recorder, one of the best items in a game, because it adds a positive token, 33% chance on every turn start. Rousing Ringer, good on the characters that have taunt, like Man-at-Arms, Leper, Flagellant, Hellion, you get a point. Sneaker Standard, good if you have Grave Robber and a Runaway in your team. Staggering Striker, mostly good on characters that can profit out of combo, like Bounty Hunter, like Leper. And for that, you need Flame below 40, which is very hard to get. On a Death's Door, this item works well on a Highwayman, because that would be like a 100% chance to execute an enemy. Vanished Vanity, absolutely great item on everyone that has taunt. Man-at-Arms, Leper, Flagellant, Carcass Hellion. Shard Litany, very good item on a Plague Doctor and on a Runaway. Smoldering Hymnal, very good on a Runaway or on every character that's gonna play first in a turn order because of a damage buff. Enlightening Element, basically good on everyone, very good on a Vanguard Man-at-Arms. When he taunts and retaliates, he can apply burn on all characters, he can below with burn. Characters that cover everything can also burn up enemies on a hit For example, a smoke screen from the runaway or AoE burn from the Plague Doctor. Additional burn with this can be procced. So good AoE skills can proc a lot from this. Hastening history, speed on a turn end. You can apply if you don't have anything else. Laden Lantern is only good if you are in a sprawl. Other than that, you don't need this item. Pairing Patriarch converts dodge to dodge plus. Very good on Runaway, on Jester, on Grave Robber, mostly on squishes that have dodge token. Sacred Scribblings, great on a Runaway and a Plague Doctor. Snappy Swig, great on a Runaway and a Plague Doctor. Now, Tinderbox, if flammable item is equipped, it really hurts a lot, especially on a Plague Doctor and a Runaway. One of the best items in the game for those two, but you need a flammable item. What's a flammable item? Flammable item is a combat item that says flammable, like Incendiary Cocktail, like Greek Fire. The next one would be card Botkin. Good on a Leper, good on a Hellion. If you bleed, 20% chance for extra action. Leper and Hellion can bleed on their own. Clasp Knife, good on any character that can deal bleed damage. Plague Doctor, Highwayman, Hellion, Occultist, Fisherman's Line. If you're able to equip a Fisherman's Net and any serrated item, you can stun or bleed. Absolutely crazy good item, but you need a lot of luck to combine these two to actually work. Fishmonger Gloves, again, if you equip serrated item, extra bleed. Told you who bleeds here. Hellion, Highwayman, Plague Doctor, Jester, good on any of them if you play with a bleed build. Again, for the bleed build, Leather Strap on all of those heroes. Nautical Compass is one of the best items in the game. On a turn end, a random positive token or 20% chance for 1 point of stress. Absolutely great item. One of the best. Goes well on every single hero in a game. Pristine Lure, great on taunters cause you get additional taunt. Taunters are Leper, Hellion, Man-at-Arms, Flagellant, absolutely great item. Seaman Boots, everyone can profit out of Seaman Boots, especially characters, fast characters like Leper and Grave Robber. Cruel Intent, great on a Leper to crit non-stop. Hardened Heart, I would avoid this item even though it provides a lot of resist, you can equip better. Idle Thought, good if you know how to burst in the first 2 or 3 rounds. After that, there's gonna be problems if you're unable to burst enemies. Jealous Whisper is so freaking great, and it's only great on a Jester. Jester profits like crazy out of Jealous Whisper. Now, as far as stained item goes, flat resists, bleed, blight, burn, all of this that provide flat resists are whatever. You can play without them. The good one is Healing Given on healing characters. Characters that can provide healing, like Plague Doctor, like Runaway, like Vestal. Move Resist, great on a Poet Leper, for example, because he's already got Move Resist and this is additional, so he cannot be moved ever by anyone. Stress Resist, this Dark Impulse with Stress Resist, combined with a pet that provides Stress Resist, and combined with items, also Trinkets, that provide Stress Resist, like this one. Once you apply them on, for example, Flagellant, he will remove stress out of your heroes, and he will transfer stress to himself, but he will negate stress if you equip all of these Trinkets. So basically, he clears stress and negates his own stress. Extremely good item on a Flagellant. And the last one for the stun resist, that one is also whatever, it can help a bit against the final boss of chapter 1. Lockjaw, you can easily put this one on a Plague Doctor, it's very good actually on a Plague Doctor. Misstep, good on a Poet Leper, good on Man-at-Arms, good on tanks, okay, those that don't deal damage, that just soak up damage. When you play on Infernal, Selfish Motivation is great, because you're gonna receive negative tokens on Infernal runs, and this one provides additional damage per negative token. It's actually good, but only on Infernal runs. If you're diseased, and if you taunt an enemy, when they hit you, you apply 6 Blight. Actually very good, but you need to keep the disease on. Silent Treatment, good on Runaway, great on a Grave Robber. Snap Judgment, great on fast characters. On a Grave Robber, on a Jester, on Runaway, they can profit a lot out of Snap Judgment. Spoken Sharply can keep you out of the Death's Door. can be good on every single hero. Temptation is probably one of the best items in a game. The reason is very simple, it provides extra action. You play twice during a round. It's like it has no value, that's how good it is. Wounding words, great item, but you need to know what you're doing, you need to protect your squishy to actually deal damage, you need to protect him with taunts, with guard, with everything that you have, and you're gonna deal a lot of damage when you equip this one. Anatomical map is only great on infernal runs, nothing else. Astroglass flute is a garbage item, melt and avoid. Befuddling sundial, another garbage, melt and avoid. Better to equip nothing than to equip this. Caked palette, copy a positive token, 80% chance, that's very good and it works on absolutely every hero. If you play with a Plague Doctor in your team, you can apply Corrupted Bile Gland on any character in your team, including the Plague Doctor, and then it's a great item. If you play without a Plague Doctor, then you should not equip Corrupted Bile Gland. Faceless Visage. Each enemy on combat starts will shuffle, and each hero on combat start will shuffle. This is a full troll trinket. It should be free from the very start of the game. If you want to have, I wouldn't call that fun, if you want to have an agonizing run full of laughs, and if you know how to laugh instead of rage, then you're gonna play with Faceless Visage. This item, for serious play, is just insta melt. It's there for laughs. A heart-shaped padlock, resolute chance, on resolute adds 2 positive tokens. Resolute happens very rare. Okay, very rare. There is a chance add-on here. But if you know how to play the game, you won't even get into a meltdown, you won't get stressed out, alright? I rarely get stressed out, maybe once in every 10 hours of play. This item is garbage. Another garbage is a murder weapon. I playtested murder weapon for over 7 hours in a row, and I applied I don't know how many crits, AoE crits. It never ever procced instant kill. And there is a 15% chance that it's gonna proc instant kill on a crit. Never happened in 7 hours. Complete trash of a weapon. It doesn't even work. Obsidian Drone Pipe, one of the best items in the game. 33% chance to stun an enemy on every turn start and only 10% chance to stun one of your own. Enemies will be stunned non-stop. What's the best out of this all? You can stun a boss. Resist, stun resist doesn't work against this item. So you can easily stun main chapter boss. Is it the final boss, map boss, it doesn't matter. You can stun every single enemy that exists. One of the best items in the game, best trinkets. Oversprung Pocket Watch. Extra action 50% chance or stun 50% chance. That's hilarious, straight off. Melt it when you see it, it ain't worth it, it can ruin your entire run. Just a big no. Proxy Doll, absolutely great item if you know how to control negative tokens. Pulsing Heart, heal or bleed, I would say melt it down when you find it. You don't need to use this one, there's really no need. Maybe, just maybe, you can profit on a Hellion or on a Leper, a Ruin Leper with this Pulsing Heart, but that's about it, okay? In all other cases, melt it down if you play without those two. True Entropy adds a random token, complete gamble, whether it's gonna be a positive or a negative. I would say melt it down. It's garbage. The next item would be Ghastly Cruel. Each hero on a round end will heal for 33% chance to happen, and you get healing received or healing given on a Plague Doctor, on a Runaway, on a spot number 4, or if it's Vestal that heals, they're gonna heal like crazy. If you put Flagellant on spot number 1 and apply this trinket, he's gonna heal like crazy, and each hero can gain heal 33% chance. Very good item, merges well with a lot of heroes. Kitchen Knives. I don't know who is it better for the Plague Doctor or for Flagellant. In both cases, this item is probably the best that you can equip. Same can be said about Brilliant Brew, slightly weaker version of Kitchen Knives. Also, Kitchen Knives work well on a Grave Robber. So it's Grave Robber, Flagellant, and Plague Doctor. Same can be said about Brilliant Brew. Good items, both. And same can be said about Corrupting Cleaver. Again, those three profit like crazy out of Plague Blight. Curing Kupa and Galvanizing Goblet are both great on everyone that deals Plague. Flagellant, Grave Robber, Plague Doctor, Hex Horde, healing received per positive token, You can easily ditch this one. Hint of Home, good with characters that have Taunt. Poison Ring, if you got noxious items, and noxious items are, for example, Ichor Bomb, it can be extremely good on Flagellant, on Plague Doctor, on a Grave Robber. Armory Key is a great item, especially when you equip both armor and weapon. That's like maximum HP or maximum damage 20% flat. Just amazing item to have on nearly every character. Blistering Bugle, whatever. It gives Taunt. So, tricky item, because you can give Taunt to other characters as well. If you have something that's gonna give armor up to the entire team, like this one gives Taunt, then they merge well, because you get Taunt on everyone and armor up. Footman Grog is good on every freaking character, especially on infernal runs, because it converts vulnerable and damage down to armor up and damage plus. Reverberating Redoubt, great on Men-at-Arms, absolutely great on all characters basically, with Taunt. Leopard 2, you get a chance for extra action, you just need to lower their speed and you're good to go. Calibrating Sensor is great on a Grave Robber or a Jester. Clenching Claws, one of the best items, if not the best in the entire game as far as tanks go. Men-at-Arms, Leper, Hellion Carcass, they all profit so freaking much out of this thing. You can stun enemies, you can make them vulnerable, you gonna get immobilized, you can get shuffled, okay, if you reduce speed. Absolutely great item. Now, my favorite items in the game is Insulating Insignia and Stone Mount. Why? Very simple. One will give armor to all characters, 33% chance, and the other one will convert that armor into armor plus. That combo is absolutely brutal. You cannot die with this combo when you have these trinkets in your team. Now, same can be said about Unwavering Standard. It also merges extremely well with this too, because now each hero on a combat start will receive armor. So you got on a turn start, on a combat start, and turn that armor into an armor plus. Those three are not that expensive too, you can buy them for cheap, and they merge extremely well with each other. Adrenalizing Ash, better to not equip anything at all than this item. Bulwark Band, better to not equip anything at all than this item. Same can be said about Butt Stressing Band, same can be said about Clandestine Cape, same can be said about Dead Ringer, and same can be said about Disarming Dagger, as well as Distracting Dust. So these items, okay, better to not equip anything at all than to equip them. I'm dead serious. Gnarly Knuckles is extremely good on every melee character, especially characters like Highwayman, Leper, and so on, Hellion. Now, as far as Raven's Reach goes, it can merge well with a Grave Robber, it can merge well, for example, with a ranged Bounty Hunter, and so on. This one, avoided like plague, melted down, Guarding Gauntlet. Same can be said about Steering Snuff, all of that is a melt. Strange Sepper is a melt, Strong Shackles is a melt. All of those items are absolute garbage. The only two that are of good value would be Raven's Reach and Gnarly Knuckles. If you plan to go solo, Thrilling Tablet will give 100% damage per missing hero and 100% maximum HP per missing hero. One of the best characters to go solo with would be the Leper. If you by any chance start with 4, okay, and you find this item, try to kill off everyone else and put this on a Leper. He can solo bosses on its own. Now what we got are items that are specific for each subclass of a hero. The first one would be a Bounty Hunter. This Crime Lord's Maulers is for the melee Bounty Hunter. I will give guides for every single class and subclass in a game. Crime Lord's Maulers are for melee Bounty Hunter. Utility Belt is for utility Bounty Hunter, the one that's dazing and stunning enemies. Hurlbat, aside from a stun, will also apply damage down when you have this one. An Avengeful Kill list, if you execute enemies, you get damage up and up and up. He becomes more and more powerful by every kill he makes, good on every type of Bounty Hunter. Emancipation for the Flagellant, damage dealing trinket. Once low on HP, you hurt more, simple as that. Punish steals positive tokens from enemies. Plague, or better to say Blight, Flagellant will profit the most out of this one, his prison. What's even funnier, more taunt skill will also receive a damage buff. For the full utility support flagellant, Searing Scripture is a very good item. Now for a stealth grave robber, pirouette, lunge, flashing daggers into back row stealth, you will receive additional damage and you will be stealthed non-stop with foreclosure notice. One of the best items in the game, class specific items, would be his rings for the venom drop grave robber. Basically your venom darts will hurt more. Stiff Drink is for the melee grave robber. She is extremely squishy, you're gonna rely on dodge. If you get hit, you can get insta one-shotted, so good luck if you wanna play her as a melee. Blooded Branch was made for the bleed build on Hellion. Empty Stain Carcass can profit out of Empty Stain Trinket. And if you're gonna have a party that's shuffling non-stop, okay, with other heroes, then Rotten Tomato is a great trinket to have on a Hellion. Cursed Coin is absolutely great on a rogue highwayman, rogue subclass, non-stop damage per positive token, and you're gonna have a lot of positive tokens in a game. Red Skull was made if you wanna make a tank out of a highwayman. I would not recommend that one. I mean, yes, it gives crit, 66% chance for a crit, but frankly, better to melt this down than to play with it. At the end, we got Tormenting Locket for the Highwayman. This is for the bleed build, bleed subclass of a Highwayman, extremely good item. Now we go to Jester. Busker's Hole is very simple. This is solo finale Jester. Solo gives you crit, you end up on a spot number 1, then an ally receives a positive token, you use finale, and you're back in the 4th spot. That's how you play with a Busker's Hole. Royal Summons is great with Fade to Black and similar. I mean, Jester moves the most out of all heroes in the game, so you're gonna have a good chance to receive a crit token on every single turn. Very good thing also, when you use solo and finale on a Jester, you're gonna end up on a spot number 4, you're gonna taunt with dodge plus. Very good trinket on a Jester. Multiple ways how you can play the Jester with this Royal Summons. The last one, Severed Finger, is for the Bleed Jester, Slice Off Jester. You apply additional bleed to enemies. Very simple, you do not move that Jester, he remains on spot number 3 or 2. Now we go to Leper, a simple flower. On a move resist gives heal, on a stun resist gives armor plus. This one is only valid on a poet subclass for a leper. Inevitable End is for the fast leper where break skills cannot gain armor. Very tricky one to play with, I would say avoid this one. Uncommon Seashell, minus 10% damage taken per negative token, extremely good item on a leper, but only on infernal runs. This is basically a tank leper that's gonna play with Ruin and boost up his damage with Ruin, while soaking up all of that damage from enemies. Now we go to the Man-at-Arms, Price of Pride. Gain armor plus when hit, below can stun, and it's AoE. One of the best trinkets in the game, by far, is Price of Pride on Man-at-Arms. Another one of the best trinkets in the game would be Standard of the Ninth. I can't even decide which one is better, to be honest, they're both freaking great, they work well. With a Vanguard, both of them. Vanguard subclass for Man-at-Arms profits the most out of them, and you can also play with other subclasses if you plan to go with Courageous Abandon. That's nerfed for the full release, by the way. The last trinket, undeserved commendation, is for the Bolster Man-at-Arms. This trinket provides additional health on spot number 2, and you buff your allies and protect them with different skills. These two are just better on a Vanguard, it's more aggressive play and you still have a taunt. This one, you will need a specific team composition if you want to play with this trinket. The next one would be Occultist. If target is on fire, healing given. Stars need to align for this trinket to work. In other words, it's garbage. Converts vulnerable to his ultimate. Again, stars need to align for this to work on Occultist. It's garbage. And a Shambler's Eye on Occultist. Maybe you can profit out of it with a Warlock. Damage dealt per stress. You get 6-7 stress. That's like 60-70% damage per stress. Not bad at all. But still, stars need to align for Occultist to actually work in this game. I know because I played a lot, especially with Occultist. The next in line would be Annotated Textbook. Plague Doctor, Melee Plague Doctor, or better to say Surgeon Plague Doctor. Only if you play with a Surgeon subclass, this one is valid. Early Experiment, absolutely great on an Alchemist subclass for the Plague Doctor. You deal amazing amount of damage, especially if you equip a noxious item. And the last one, Storage Room Key, is for utility, or better to say, this one is for buffer Plague Doctor. If you decide to play him like that, her like that, of course, then this is a very good trinket. The next one would be Runaway. If you're stealthed, you receive a crit. Heartlight gives combo. Good on a Runaway that's gonna switch positions and go into stealth. But most of the people will play Runaway to burn enemies. Speaking about burn, this is the best trinket that you can get on a Runaway. It doesn't matter if it's a subclass of Arsonist or an Orphan, you're gonna hurt a lot when you apply this. If you want to play with a tricky Runaway, Pile of Ash that gives dodge plus is very good if you're gonna move behind non-stop with stealth. Icon of Light for the Vestal gives additional healing. Good trinket on a Vestal Classic, I would say. Profane Scroll is for the Taunter Tank Vestal, position number 1 and 2. If you apply position 1, then you're a taunt tank. If you apply position 2, then you deal melee damage. Your choice of how you wanna play this. For the utility Vestal, the one that deals damage from the back rows, you can illuminate enemies, or better to say, put them on fire. If you equip a flammable item, you're gonna hurt even more. Interesting build on a Vestal is with this trinket if you can get it. Fate's Foreteller, if you don't have any other trinket to use, you can use this one on any character. Inert Indicia, if you don't have any other trinket, again, you can use it on any character. Now, Mortal Ward is absolutely great for the final chapter, or better to say, for the final boss. On a Death's Door, you will receive a crit, a dodge plus, and you're gonna remove 2 points of stress. Very good on every single character in a game. Prodding Pendant, absolutely great on every single character in a game. There is a chance for a straight heal on a stress damage. Whenever you resist Bleed, Blight, and Burn, Skeleton Sight will remove 2 points of stress. Good on all characters. Sparkle Ball is one of the best trinkets in a game by far. Very simple, apply on hit all negative tokens that exist in a game. Absolutely crazy good item. Merges extremely well with characters that can damage full line of enemies, not only with one skill. It also merges well with riposte heroes. Eyes of the Void. If stress 5/5/5, deal Blight, Burn, and Bleed. Stars need to align for this one to work. So melt it when you see it. There is no way it's gonna work. I tested it multiple times, it only happened once in I don't know how many hours. From Beyond, you refuse to die when you equip this item, good for the final boss of the chapter. Hierarchy of Sights, again good for the final boss of the chapter, no matter who you're gonna give this trinket to. Unblinking Entropy, very good item, no matter what character equips this one. Appalling Apron, very good item on a healer, on a Vestal, on a Plague Doctor, on a Runaway, on spot number 4. You will need to protect them with taunts though. Spiked Skullcap, great item if you equip a Bonesaw, and of course it only works on Bleeders. Bleeders would be Hellion, Highwayman, Plague Doctor, and so on. And now we go to the classic items, most common items, okay? They got white version, blue version, and golden version without negatives, all of these. I'll only transfer to golden versions because other versions ain't that good. You can equip them, of course, on every character, but we only gonna pass through golden ones and tell you what's gonna work for the end and what's not. The best one by far is the Greater Gilded Mind. It doesn't matter what version of Gilded Mind you plan to use, Gilded Mind is absolutely great. A must. After that one, it's a straight crit, and after that one, it's a straight damage trinket. Those three are absolutely insane. This one, you can always use it before eating mold, so you resist disease and then you switch for something else. As far as flat resists go, like Greater Hit Shield and Greater Sacrificial Host, and there is another one, I think. This one is good on a Poet Leper, for example. You do not need those, okay? Flat resists, you really don't need them, you can use something else, something more useful. This is very good on healers, on Plague Doctor, on Vestal, and so on, better healing given. And characters that gonna require speed to trigger other trinkets passives, Wolf's blood is very good. So these trinkets you will see most often in a game, especially blue versions. They're all good in their own way, alright? But I told you what's absolutely the best. It's Gilded Mind. It protects you from death and it gives you stress resist. Darkest Dungeon is a game about stress, and this item is one of the very best. Let's transfer to the Stagecoach items. Let's start off with torches. Infernal torches are there for the experienced people. They're gonna play this and that require challenge. I don't want to speak way too much about it. Radiant torches, the more you lose, the bigger the torch is, or better to say, the easier it is. Once you equip the Radiant torch, it gets easier and easier. It's completely opposite for the Infernal torch. Boss heads, they give you different passives. Very good passives, and most of them are extremely useful. It depends out of the team. If you have team that's gonna burn enemies, you're gonna go for that boss, okay, for the librarian. If you have a team that you wish to immobilize, you're gonna have the general down, and so on. You need to know exactly what you're doing and what team composition you're playing and what boss you will go for. That's how it is. I will hover over every boss trophy now. Now let's go to pets. Larval Carrion Eater. Not that good of a pet, okay? You need to clear out corpses, waste around to clear them, then heal up, gain crit. Maybe Leopard can profit the most out of it, and that's about it. Hatchling Crocodilian. When moving, 3% damage per battle. So, characters that move receive damage. You need Runaway, Jester, Grave Robber, combo of all of those, maybe even Hellion with a breakthrough, so you receive that damage non-stop. I would not recommend this pet to newcomers. Unnatural Owlet is great because it increases the chance of producing items from Stagecoach. If you have a lot of food, this Reanimated Rabbit is very good and it's user friendly. If you just wanna go for the Oblivion's Ingress, then you're gonna equip Shambler's Spawn, simple as that. I would not recommend this one to newcomers for sure. Shrieker Chick, absolutely great. All you need is scouting gear and you receive 2% crit per scouting gear, or better to say, max is 8% crit on all characters, on all heroes. It also increases the quantity of looted bubbles. This slime provides increased chance of looting items from road debris. Very, very good pet, and I mean it. You can get rich out of road debris. For those that risk a lot and for those that play without a healer in a team, this one can help a bit with healing after every location. Crimson Tick produces blood. Blood is OP, very OP consumable. Very good pet. And the last one, or better to say, this is the first one you're gonna get, is stress resist per luxury gear. This is like 20% stress resist if you get all 4 items with luxury gear on your Stagecoach, and positive relation plus 10%. This, even though it's a first pet, is probably the best pet in the game. I just love this one. Complete control over gameplay. Now let's go to the Stagecoach items. Academic Caches Scouting Location, not bad. Remember, you need to combine those with pets. Chance to produce concoction and powder items, not bad. Quantity of looted relics plus 4, whatever. Quantity of produced items from Stagecoach items, again, whatever. Hoarder Location Scouting is a very, very nice item, especially because it doubles the trinket selection at the Hoarder. Very good item on a Stagecoach. Puddle Case is frankly whatever. These lamps reduce loathing, or better to say, this is loathing resist. I would say if you're new, you can profit out of it, but definitely for more experienced players, this is garbage item. Now, if you want to remove negative quirks, this directory is an absolute must. It reveals field hospitals on the map. Mixing Kit produces restorative items. Solid Stagecoach item. This table that removes disease is absolute garbage. For newcomers, the most important Stagecoach item is a chandelier. It increases the amount of candles that you're gonna get. The most important thing in the game by far. For those that maxed everything out, this item is classic garbage. Compressed kit is an absolute garbage. Crow's nest, you can equip if you don't have anything else to equip. Now this one, explosives magazine, is very good because it can provide explosives for your team, and I already said traps and explosives are the most important combat items in the game. Food barrels gives a resolute chance, very good item. Griddle, you can keep it if like you can find this one on the first map, you can keep it for like 2 maps, it's gonna produce like 3 or 4 dozens of flapjacks, and then you can switch for some other stagecoach item and you're gonna have free food for everyone till the very end of the game. Now as far as almanacs go, they give you straight up flat percent damage, 15% damage on all maps. The Sprawl, the Shroud, the Photor and the Tangle. Good for beginners. I would avoid this and go for something else if I need to spend bubbles. Okay, but for the beginners, it's actually good. It makes the game slightly easier. Icebox merges well with a food pet and with items that produce food, so you get benefits out of all of that. Other than that, it's complete garbage. You need to know what you're doing for this item to work. Iron Banded Wheels, very good stagecoach item. It provides extra wheels. Probably the most important item in the game would be Iron Brazier. Traveling Flame Drain is down by 33%. Probably, especially for the newcomers, the most important thing that exists. Leaf Suspension, positive relation chance on every in, very nice one. Traveling Heal, very good on beginners. Medicine Chest, I would say that this one is a complete garbage. And Merchant's Guild Seal is probably one of the best stagecoach items in the game. Flat 20% discount on all items in the game. It can happen that in can also have 50% discount, and then that's 70% discount. And it can happen that you can receive another 25% discount from Monsters Den and so on, where you're gonna be able to buy a trinket that, for example, costs 70 bubbles for only 1 bubble. So imagine that. When it happens, you get every single trinket in a game. Mortar and Pestle, I would say avoid this one, get something else. Now, the Shrine Map trinket is one of the most important trinkets for the beginners, because it reveals hero shrines. You need to reveal all hero shrines to unlock all skills for all heroes in the game. Very important for newcomers. Steel Plating gives us armor, the other one gave us wheels. Solid items, solid stagecoach items. Stew Pot, producing invigorating stew. Very good trinket, no matter if you're a beginner or not. Great item. Flat storage is always good in the game, whether it's +3 slots, whether it's +6 slots, okay? It's always good to have that. Strongbox buys you that additional space in your inventory where you can stack relics and bubbles. If you have a spacious strongbox, it's even better, because now you're gonna have a free inventory with this one. T-Service, absolutely great item, positive relation chance. Telescope, if you don't have anything else to equip, scouting is great to have. Contraptions, also very good trinket. And this Tracker's map is one of the best, because Creatures Den and Oasis provide the best possible gear in the game. Very, very good to have. And as I said for bombs, now I say it for traps. Trap Maker's Kit, extremely important. Traps and bombs are the most important combat items in the game. Trinket Organizer increases the chance of looting trinkets. It's always good to have an increased chance to loot trinkets, let's be real. Once, if your stagecoach is out of wheels or out of armor, there is an extra action after using the repair skill. Basically, this is for newcomers, this item sucks. Whiskey, not bad if you want positive relations. Okay, if you can get this one on the very first map, you can steamroll into positive relations till the end of the game. Wind Chime, if you can have it for free, why not? It removes 1 point of stress after each location. Good item. And at the end, we got Work Table Loom, chance to produce woven items. Basically, this is trash. Believe it or not, that's it with the Recollection. There's a lot of items in the game. I told you what's what. Now you're gonna need to check out guides that I'm gonna have on this channel for every subclass, every class, all the tips and tricks, and combine that into one big video. I am working on it right now. It's probably gonna be out soon. All in all, that's it for the items today. If you found this video useful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll be seeing you on the next one. Thanks for watching.